This is definitely not the oldest house in England, but perhaps we should call it that, because although it is the oldest lighthouse in the country, we don't know for sure if it was ever lit. Magnificent, dramatic, ancient haven for seabirds and smugglers, danger sign for mariners and home port for fishermen. Flamborough Head weaves together many strands of this country's natural and cultural heritage. Flamborough Head has always been a dangerous place for shipping, with chalk reefs and outcrops obscured by the crashing waves. The area is also notorious for the strong tidal currents that funnel past the headlands. The sailing boat La Catherine was the earliest recorded vessel to be wrecked off the headland. She stranded on rocks during a violent storm in 1348. 175 ships were wrecked off the headland between 1770 and 1806, one every 3 months. In 1806, Trinity House made the decision to build the current lighthouse at Flamborough. A clockwork motor rotated an oil lamp which warned shipping of the dangerous cliffs and was reportedly visible for 20 miles. In 1925, the tower was raised to its present height of 85 feet, standing 250 feet above the waves. But it wasn't the first lighthouse here. There was a lighthouse at Flamborough Head long before the present one was built. The octagonal chalk tower, which is one of the oldest surviving lighthouses in England, was built in 1669 by Sir John Clayton. He was given permission to build a number of lighthouses around the country by King Charles II. The 24-meter tower was designed to have a brushwood or coal fire burning on the top, although restoration works have cast doubt as to whether a fire was ever lit. This may have been due to the fact that voluntary dues from passing sailors were inadequate to fund the lighthouse. Although it's now empty, the tower was used as a marine telegraph station during the 19th century. 98 steps rise to the top of the tower, where a fire could be lit on the flat roof. There's no evidence to suggest that a fire was ever lit. However, it could be that a fire burned in a metal basket hanging over the parapet, as at a 17th century lighthouse in Holland. Ships passing the tower were supposed to pay Clayton a tax to support the provision of the fires, based on the weight of their cargo. Paying the tax was voluntary, so many mariners refused, which forced Clayton into bankruptcy. Thus the end of the lighthouse. Constructed of brilliant white chalk, it was a visible beacon from afar, both at sea and on land. It was as a signaling point that the tower was particularly useful. Semaphore Telegraphy was devised by Claude Chape in 1792 for transmitting visually coded messages with colored flags or a frame fixed to the top of a tower holding 2 boards or paddles which moved to communicate the message, like a mechanical internet. The tower could have worked in conjunction with the fort at Bridlington, transmitting messages during the Napoleonic Wars. Fear of French invasion was widespread. In the middle of the 19th century, local man George Mainprize messaged passing vessels in Semaphore by waving flags from the top of the tower. Since 1952, the chalk tower has been listed Grade 2 as a beacon tower, and in 1996 it received a major restoration. A note of interest to any American viewers is the Battle of Flamborough Head in 1779. It became one of the most celebrated naval actions of the American War of Independence, despite its relatively small size and a considerable dispute over what actually happened. On the 23rd of September 1779, under a bright moon, the Battle of Flamborough Head took place between an American Continental Navy squadron led by John Paul Jones aboard the Bonhomme Richard, and two British escort vessels, HMS Seraphis and the Countess of Scarborough, protecting a large merchant convoy. It was the Bonhomme Richard that initiated the conflict by engaging Seraphis in a violent gun battle. The more heavily armed Seraphis made a British triumph look inevitable. However, it was John Paul Jones who claimed victory by lashing two ships together. After a chaotic battle, he then boarded and captured the Seraphis just before the Bonhomme Richard sank. The final resting place of the Bonhomme Richard is subject to much speculation. Countless expeditions have sought to locate the wreckage, but without success, and for now it remains a mystery. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's more adventures to see on our homepage, and more to come.